As you guys can see, I'm in beautiful Crete. Been traveling quite a bit lately. Sorry for the lack of consistent uploads. We're gonna bring it back. We're gonna add in some travel content. Should be good. But one of my most popular videos on YouTube was me going over like how I train for aesthetics or something along those lines. What I want to do in this video is like a little recap because I feel like I have it down to a pretty good system. And I'm gonna give you guys that value in this video. And then yeah, next video is moving forward. I'm doing a lot of travel content, a lot of traveling. Having fun in life. It's been 5 years I've been doing the social media stuff, so I want to like do a little bit more. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy the video. Let's get into it.
All right, let's get into it. Now, I want to explain where I'm coming from with this video. First off, I'm sorry for the lack of uploads. Going to be uploading a lot more. I've been filming a lot of travel content. It's going to be good. Fitness mixed in with cinematic travel. It'll be good. So I promise I'll start uploading more frequently here soon. It's been busy. First time going to Europe. Anyways, I feel like doing this fitness stuff for the last 5 years, and I feel like I've been known for being one of the aesthetic guys. I'm not the biggest guy, but my frame has always been known for being pretty aesthetic. Actually, when I started social media, my whole like niche that I'd made around was like the Greek god physique, Greek god aesthetic. Like that's my workout. That was like my whole entire thing. Why I feel like my physique has been one that maybe is more aesthetic than others obviously comes down to a variety of things, such as genetics, like my muscle insertions. But one of the things that I know for a fact is that I absolutely love training and always have trained harder and more frequently my chest, my back, and my shoulders, which I feel like are the three most important muscle groups when it comes to building an overall aesthetic physique. Now, I'm not saying to neglect your arms or your legs, not by any means. 100% you still should train them like the same amount of your as your also other muscle groups. But I will say that when one muscle group is bigger than another one, comparatively it looks bigger. And one of the biggest things of building an aesthetic physique are going to be illusions. It's when you have a wide chest, a wide back, and broad delts, like, and a small waist, it's going to make your physique look so much more aesthetic than if like your arms are bigger than your shoulders. You know what I mean? So in this video, I'm going to go over what I have done over the last 8 years of training to grow my chest, my back, and my delts, along with my favorite exercises and what I feel like is the most optimal way to train. I might sound like a bro science guy getting into this, but this is what has personally worked for me. And if you were allowing me to give you any type of input on how I think you can build an aesthetic physique, give or take like genetics, whatever, then this is going to be me giving that input. Again, not all this is going to be right, but this is what's been able to work for me, and that's what I'm getting into right now. So, starting off training, I'm going to go over chest, which is one that I feel like I can give the most amount of information because it's been, if I had to pick one muscle group to train for the rest of my life, it probably would be my chest. Now, there's multiple ways that you can train your chest. Briefly, you can do a type of fly isolation movement. There's your typical compound, bench press movement. There's stuff like dips you can do. There's so many different ways to train your chest. But what I have done over the years that have been my favorite things to do when prioritizing actual chest development is going to be one, pre-exhausting with some type of cable or dumbbell fly. I know I don't see people do like dumbbell flies anymore, but doing cable or dumbbell flies to briefly start the chest workout just to get blood in there and make it so that I can feel it when I bench press is what I usually start with. The second thing is prioritizing incline movements over anything. So doing a lot of incline dumbbell bench. I prefer dumbbell over barbell because you get equal load on each side. I feel like it's just more of a stretch and I think it's safer. I only flat barbell bench recently just for like ego and just because it's fun. And a lot of the dumbbells nearby don't go up that high. But I think prioritizing incline movements, incline flies, incline benching is better than doing any type of decline or flat. In my personal opinion, that is what's been the best for me. When I say incline, I think anywhere from I think a 30-degree incline is probably best. 20 to 30-degree incline does not have to be an insane incline. In fact, I think if you go too high, it can probably hurt you because it's more anterior delt than chest at all. But prioritize incline movements. So first, start with a pre-exhausting movement like a fly just to get blood in the muscle. Don't fatigue it too much because you still want to focus on progressive overload with the benching. Pick a really good compound lift that you feel like you are good at and confident in that is an incline movement, whether it's a plate-loaded machine incline press, an incline barbell bench press, an incline dumbbell bench press. Pick one movement that you're going to focus on progressive overload over the next year and just try and kill it at that movement. That should be in every single chest day that you are hitting, 100%. And then third thing is I would finish with another type of isolation movement that you feel like you have the best mind muscle connection with. For me, it's always been either a dumbbell fly still or some type of cable fly, like a seated cable fly. In terms of the amount of frequency and volume that I recommend hitting for chest, I think hitting it twice a week is perfectly fine. And I think anywhere in terms of workload, like training to failure volume, I think doing anywhere from 10 sets roughly, give or take 2 to 3 each way, is going to be perfectly fine. You don't have to do 20 sets of chest in a week to grow a bigger chest. In fact, I think that too much can hurt you. If you're having 10 quality sets of chest every week, you are going to grow. Give or take, let's say 8 to 12. Depends on the person, because some people train with less intensity. Some people think they're training with high intensity when they really aren't. So that's what I'm going to say as a range to try and focus on. I train to failure, so that has been what's been good for me. Second thing is going to be focusing on back development. Now, back is a little bit more intricate in my opinion than training chest, because there's a lot of different ways of angles that you can kind of go around hitting it. For me, I think chest is pretty plain and simple. It's stretch and squeeze, bring your elbows together. Like, it's very simple. Back, there's so many different ways to train it. Now, the 3 ways that I like focusing on training back is, 1, it's going to be obviously your typical pull down, right? 2, it's going to be some type of row. And then 3, it's going to be one arm movements, which I feel like are more beneficial on back than any other body part, because with your back, you're able to get far more of a stretch and a squeeze when you do a one arm movement than if you're doing 2, right? So 1, I love focusing on some type of heavy rowing movement. I've always been a fan of heavy barbell rows, pulling it at a roughly 45-degree angle. I think picking up really heavy rowing movement that you can focus on progressive overload similar to the bench is going to be huge. So whether it's a plate-loaded barbell row, whether it's a seated, cable row, seated like plate-loaded row, some type of heavy row where you're focused on good form and having a crazy amount of power executed in it, and you're focusing on progressive overload. So for me, it's been a barbell row. The second thing you need to prioritize and focus on is going to be a pull-down movement. But this is the thing, I feel like a lot of people do their pull downs wrong. You want to focus on your lat development more than anything. If you focus too much on your traps and your rhomboids, I don't think that contributes to the aesthetics as much. It's the wide lats that's going to make people really look at your physique and be like, damn, that guy's wide. And then it makes your waist look smaller, and that's how you have more aesthetics. So for me, what that is picking either a, type of wide grip pull down machine or a type of cable pull down machine, whatever it might be. And the goal here, which I feel like a lot of people don't do right, is you want to stay as vertical as possible. You do not want to lean back while you're pulling down. You stay upright and as vertical as possible. You're going to bring your elbows in front of you as much as you can, or you're just going to focus on staying vertical while jamming your elbow down as hard as you can into your lower back. It's going to be a little bit less of a range of motion, but that is how you're going to activate your lats so much more than anything else, and that's how you're going to really build that width. So find a pull down movement that you love and that you can stick to, and focus on progressive overload. I'm not going to tell you a bunch of different exercises. A lot of this is like plain and simple. It's a simple recipe, but it's poorly executed by majority of people. Do not complicate any of the stuff. Find a movement that you are good at and that you enjoy doing it, and just focus on progressive overload over a long period of time, getting stronger and getting better form, and you're going to grow. You don't have to add in 4 different types, 5 different types of exercises, and this week I'm going to do this variation of a pull down, this next week I'm going to do this different variation. No, you do not have to do that. Keep it plain and simple. Majority of my games were made in a home gym with simple ass equipment, right? You do not need to have all this extravagant stuff. Third movement is you want to pick a one arm movement. This is the only way I'm going to say you can vary it a little bit in. You're either going to want to do a one arm rowing movement or a one arm pull down movement. And the benefit of having the one arm movement is that you can have so much more of a stretch and a squeeze and really like manipulate the movement to target your lats so much more. So for me, I've loved doing either a hammer strength, like one arm row. I've loved doing those, or a one arm cable row, whatever it might be. The biggest thing, if you're doing a pull down movement, you want to keep your elbow in front of you as much as possible. Kind of how I mentioned on the pull down, but for this time, you want your elbow directly in front of you, and you want to jam your elbow down as hard as you can. Again, it's going to be a slightly maybe shorter range of movement. It's going to feel a little bit weird at times, but stay vertical. Keep your elbow in front of you, jam it down. That's how you're going to train your lat. Same thing for kind of like a row. You want to keep your elbow close to you when you're doing a one-arm rowing movement. Really get a crazy good stretch in your lat and jam it as close to your body as possible. That's how you're going to be training your back. When you're focused more on squeezing your entire back together and having your elbow away from your body, you're still going to train your back and you can still get bigger, but you're not going to get as much of that wider lat development, which is what you want if you're building a more aesthetic physique. So those are the 3 ways you can train your back, and you should include in every single back workout. It's going to be, again, a pull down movement, a heavy rowing movement, and then some type of one arm movement where you're focused on training your lat in. Focus on progressive overload. Keep it simple, stretch and squeeze, good form, do not ego lift. The third body part, delts. Training your delts, which are in 3 different areas, right? You have your front delt, which is usually aiding in your bench pressing or a pressing movement. You have your side delt, which we hit with lateral raises, lateral movements, upright rows, whatever. And then your rear delt, which you usually hit on your back days, rear delt, like flies, rows, you hit them. You hit your, any type of pulling movement, you're going to hit your rear delt a little bit. So how can you prioritize these 3 heads of the shoulders to build a more round delt, which is going to flow in with your back, flow in with your chest, and just build an overall more aesthetic physique? First off, I think you do not have to do a dedicated pressing movement, because if you are bench pressing consistently, your front delt's still going to grow. But you should still add maybe one heavy movement. So for me, I think something like a split machine shoulder press is what I've been big on. A military press is also nice, or a dumbbell shoulder press. Find one that you like and stick with it and keep it as your staple. And every single time you train your delts, and focus on progressive overload. Second movement is I prioritize the hell out of my lateral head of the shoulder. I hit the lateral head of the shoulder more than anything. Even on some arm days, I just throw in like lateral head of the shoulder movements. The lateral head is the one that's going to make you have that rounded shoulder look, that from the front, like someone looks at you and like you have like bolder shoulders. That's the lateral head. You train that through lateral movements, such as lateral raises. My favorite lateral raise variations is going to be a chest supported lateral raise, where my chest is supported on an incline bench so that I'm not swinging and I'm just focusing on raising my shoulders and really targeting that side delt as much as possible with good form. You can do standing lateral raises, you can do seated lateral raises, you can do a cable lateral raise leaning against like a cable machine. Whatever it is, find like 2 of them that you like doing and spam the hell out of them. It is a small muscle group, it recovers pretty quick, at least for me it does. So I have to hit it with a lot more frequency. For my delts, especially the side delt, I like to hit it up to 3 times a week. All right, so for rear delts, anything like an incline bench, rear delt fly, reverse pec deck, whatever it might be, I don't jam my rear delts as much as my side delts, because I feel like I hit them a lot in a lot of my back and rowing movements. In terms of volume for shoulders, because it's a smaller muscle group, for me, I do 12 to 14 working sets probably a week, because I hit them a little bit more frequently, as my chest is a big muscle group for me. Again, I want you guys to know too, like, this isn't for everybody. This is going to be different. Like, if you have a naturally bigger chest, then maybe you should train your delts more, like me. For example, I don't hit my chest as much now. I do more delts and back to try and balance out my chest. But that's personally what I do to grow a more aesthetic physique. I'm not saying neglect your arms, neglect your legs, no. But if you want to kind of alter it a little bit, I do think if I was to pick a few muscle groups to be bigger than other ones, to create the illusion of a more aesthetic physique, it would be big, full, wide chest, round delts, and extremely wide and like thick back and lats. With the small waist is going to make you have that V taper, which is what makes people look bigger than what they actually are and brings more of that aesthetic, right? So that's my personal take on it. I'm not saying to neglect your arms and everything. They're still going to be hit through this, and still train your arms 100%. But when you have bigger arms, to make your chest and shoulders look bigger, your chest and shoulders have to be bigger, right? If you were to just shrink someone's arms, their chest and their delts, everything's going to look a little bit bigger just because of comparison. So I guess that's the benefit of me having kind of small arms, is that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. This is more of an informational video. I just wanted to get something out while I edit this travel vlog that I'm doing. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you took any type of thing away from it, let me know. In the description, I'll have like an entire plan that you guys can literally copy and paste and use just for free, if you guys want to just recap it and kind of use it for your own training. Yeah. All right, love you guys. God bless. Until next time.